Ladies and gentlemen, do not be kind in the way the world expects you to be. Be kind in the way that empowers, uplifts, and transforms. Be kind with strength, with courage, and with boundaries. Because that's the kind of kindness that truly changes, lives yours and those around you. Redefining kindness is essential if we are to truly understand its power and its place in our lives. When we think of kindness, we often envision a soft, gentle approach, someone who is always willing to help, to give, to support, no matter the cost to themselves. But let's challenge that notion. Kindness should not be synonymous with weakness or submission. It should be a reflection of strength, a commitment to authenticity, and a conscious choice to uplift others while still honoring ourselves. Think about it, kindness often gets twisted into an expectation to always say yes, to always accommodate, and to never rock the boat. But that kind of kindness can lead to resentment. When we put everyone else's needs above our own, we begin to lose sight of who we are. We become like a leaf in the wind, swayed by the demands of others, forgetting that our own desires and boundaries matter just as much. Redefining kindness means recognizing that it isn't just about what we do for others, but how we do it. It's about the intention behind our actions. True kindness emerges from a place of self-awareness and self-respect. It is born out of love, but it is not blind love. It is the love that sees the bigger picture, the kind of love that encourages growth both for ourselves and for those around us. When we approach kindness with clarity and intention, we begin to understand that sometimes the kindest act can be to say no. It can be to set a boundary when someone asks for more than we can give. It can be to speak up when we see someone being treated unfairly, even if it puts us in an uncomfortable position. That kind of kindness requires courage. It demands that we stand firm in our beliefs and values, advocating not just for ourselves, but for others who may not have the voice to do so. Imagine a world where kindness is not about bending over backwards to please everyone, but instead is about fostering relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. A world where we teach others that it's okay to have needs, to express them, and to prioritize them. This shift in mindset can lead to deeper connections, genuine interactions, and a stronger sense of community. Let's also talk about the power of kindness to inspire change. When we redefine kindness as an active, engaged practice, we open up a pathway for transformation. Imagine a leader who approaches their team with kindness, not through empty platitudes, but by genuinely listening, offering constructive feedback, and challenging them to grow. This is the kind of kindness that fosters innovation, encourages creativity, and builds resilient teams. Furthermore, redefining kindness means understanding that it's not always about being gentle. Sometimes kindness looks like delivering tough messages, having difficult conversations, and being willing to risk discomfort for the sake of truth and growth. It means being the person who is willing to hold up a mirror to someone when they need it most, even if that reflection isn't pretty. Because real kindness recognizes that true growth often comes through discomfort, and that sometimes our greatest gift to someone is to help them confront their own shortcomings with compassion and honesty. In this light, kindness becomes a powerful tool for empowerment. It's not just about doing good deeds or offering support, it's about helping others see their own potential. When we redefine kindness in this way, we realize that by lifting others up, we can help them become the best versions of themselves. We create a culture of accountability and empowerment, where kindness fuels ambition and drives people to strive for excellence. So let's embrace this new understanding of kindness, one that challenges the status quo and pushes us to be more than just agreeable. Let's redefine it as a dynamic force that fosters personal growth, inspires courage, and builds authentic connections. This is the kind of kindness that transforms lives not just for others, but for ourselves as well. When we approach life with this mindset, we unlock a deeper, more meaningful way of relating to ourselves and those around us, creating a ripple effect of positive change that can touch countless lives. The danger of people-pleasing is something that many of us grapple with, often without even realizing it. It sneaks into our lives like a thief in the night, stealing our sense of self and leaving us feeling empty and lost. You see, people-pleasing isn't just about being nice, it's about sacrificing your own needs, desires, and boundaries in order to make others happy. It's a trap that can lead you down a path of self-neglect, anxiety, and burnout. Think about it for a moment. How often do you find yourself saying yes to things you really want to decline? How often do you compromise your own values, your own time, your own peace of mind just to keep someone else happy? We've all been there, nodding along, agreeing with every request, every demand, even when our hearts and minds are screaming for us to stop. It feels easier in the moment to go along with what others want. It feels like we're doing our part, being good friends, good family members, good colleagues. But in reality, we're giving away pieces of ourselves. People-pleasing often stems from a deep-seated fear of rejection or abandonment. We worry that if we don't cater to others' needs, we'll be unloved or unwanted. It's an instinctual response after all. We're social beings, hardwired to seek acceptance and belonging. But here's the catch: when you focus solely on pleasing others, you lose sight of your own identity. You start to shape-shift into whoever you think people want you to be. You become a chameleon, changing your colors to match those around you, but in the process, you forget what your true colors are. This cycle of people-pleasing can be exhausting. You might think you're helping others, but in reality, you're hurting yourself. You may find that you're constantly stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed. When you prioritize others' happiness over your own, it leads to resentment. You begin to feel like a martyr, like you're giving and giving without receiving anything in return. This imbalance creates a breeding ground for bitterness, and before long, your relationships can start to feel more like obligations than connections. Moreover, when you constantly seek approval from others, you begin to give your power away. You let other people dictate your worth, your happiness, and your choices. You may start to feel like a puppet, dancing to the strings of others' expectations. This is not the way to live. True fulfillment comes from within, not from the validation of others. You have to reclaim that power, and it starts by setting boundaries. You must learn to say no without guilt, to prioritize your own needs without apology. Imagine what your life could look like if you embraced authenticity instead of the facade of people-pleasing. What if you showed up as your true self, without the fear of judgment or rejection? You would attract the right people, those who appreciate you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. Authenticity fosters deeper connections, relationships built on mutual respect rather than obligation. When you stop worrying about being liked and start focusing on being real, you free yourself from the burden of expectation. Let me tell you, saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a strong person. It means you're honoring your own needs and values. It means you're taking a stand for your own well-being. When you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to your own happiness and peace of mind. You're setting a precedent not just for yourself, but for others as well. When you model self-respect, you encourage those around you to do the same. You see, kindness doesn't mean sacrificing yourself for others. It means helping others while also helping yourself. It's about being there for others without losing sight of who you are. It's about creating a life where you can be generous and giving without feeling depleted. When you recognize the danger of people-pleasing, you begin to break free from its chains. You empower yourself to make choices that align with your values and passions, paving the way for a life that is both fulfilling and authentic. So let go of the need to please everyone. It's okay to prioritize your own happiness. In fact, it's essential. Embrace the freedom that comes with authenticity. Challenge the belief that your worth is tied to others' approval. You are worthy just as you are, and you have the power to choose a path that reflects your true self. It's time to reclaim your identity and live a life that is not just about pleasing others, but about truly living for yourself. Kindness vs. Boundaries is a crucial distinction that many people overlook in their quest to be compassionate. You see, kindness is often associated with being accommodating, agreeable, and ready to lend a hand at any moment. While these traits are admirable, they can easily blur the lines between genuine kindness and self-sacrifice. This is where boundaries come into play. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, rather, it is an essential component of healthy relationships and a cornerstone of true kindness. Imagine you're at a gathering, and someone asks for a favor that you know deep down is beyond your capacity or willingness to give. In that moment, kindness might urge you to say yes, to stretch yourself thin to help someone else. But what about your own needs? What about your own time, energy, and emotional well-being? When you fail to establish boundaries, you might find yourself overwhelmed, resentful, and ultimately ineffective in both your kindness to others and your care for yourself. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that your needs matter just as much as the needs of others. By clearly defining what you are willing to give and what you must protect, you are actually being kinder, not just to yourself, but to those around you as well. When people know your limits, they can better understand how to interact with you, and they are less likely to take advantage of your kindness. In essence, boundaries create a framework within which kindness can flourish. Consider the impact of kindness without boundaries. Picture a caregiver who dedicates every waking moment to others, neglecting their own needs in the process. They may feel noble in their selflessness, but over time, that self-neglect leads to burnout, frustration, and even resentment toward those they are trying to help. This is not kindness, it is a recipe for emotional depletion. On the other hand, when caregivers establish boundaries, whether it's designating time for self-care or being clear about what they can realistically handle, they enhance their ability to provide genuine support. They can give more of themselves without losing themselves. Now let's talk about the misconception that setting boundaries is unkind. Some people might perceive boundaries as walls, barriers that shut others out. But in reality, they are not walls, they are bridges. They allow for deeper, more meaningful connections because they promote honesty and transparency. When you communicate your boundaries, you invite others into an authentic relationship where expectations are clear and misunderstandings are minimized. This creates a safe space for kindness to thrive because everyone involved knows what to expect. Think about the friendships in your life. Healthy friendships are built on mutual respect and understanding. When one person continuously sacrifices their own needs to please the other, it creates an imbalance. The relationship becomes one-sided, and true kindness is lost. On the flip side, when both individuals respect each other's boundaries, the friendship can grow stronger. They can support one another while also honoring their individual needs, leading to a more fulfilling and compassionate connection. In the professional world, the importance of boundaries is just as pronounced. You might find yourself in a job where colleagues or clients consistently demand your time and energy without regard for your limits. Saying yes to every request may seem kind, but it can undermine your effectiveness and lead to burnout. Establishing boundaries in the workplace means communicating your availability, prioritizing your responsibilities, and knowing when to say no. This doesn't mean you're being unkind, it means you're protecting your ability to do your best work. When you're at your best, you can contribute more meaningfully to your team and your projects. Moreover, setting boundaries can actually inspire others to do the same. When you demonstrate that you value your own time and well-being, you encourage those around you to reflect on their own boundaries. This creates a ripple effect, promoting a culture of respect and self-care. Imagine a workplace where everyone feels empowered to express their limits. It fosters collaboration, reduces stress, and enhances overall morale. Kindness flourishes when boundaries are in place, and the result is a more supportive environment for everyone involved. So as you navigate your relationships, personal and professional, remember this: true kindness is not about saying yes at all costs. It's about striking that delicate balance between compassion and self-respect. Setting boundaries is a powerful act of kindness. It shows that you care not only for others, but also for yourself. It allows you to engage in genuine acts of kindness without sacrificing your own well-being. In embracing this perspective, you'll find that your kindness becomes more authentic, more sustainable, and ultimately more impactful. You will be able to give freely without fear of depleting yourself. You will stand firm in your values and communicate your needs clearly, paving the way for deeper connections and richer experiences. So let's redefine kindness together. Let's embrace boundaries as the foundation of true compassion, empowering ourselves and those around us to lead healthier, happier lives. The power of tough love is often misunderstood, yet it is one of the most impactful forms of kindness we can extend to others. We live in a society that often equates kindness with softness, with gentle words and warm embraces. While those elements are vital, there are times when the kindest thing we can do for someone is to be brutally honest, to challenge them, and to push them out of their comfort zones. Tough love is about having the courage to say what needs to be said, even when it feels uncomfortable or even confrontational. Imagine a friend who is struggling, someone you deeply care about. You've watched them make choices that lead them down a path of pain or regret. In that moment, you have a choice. You can either tell them what they want to hear, something comforting that lets them stay in their comfort zone, or you can muster the courage to speak the truth. Speaking the truth can be uncomfortable. It can lead to confrontation or even hurt feelings in the short term, but it also has the potential to lead to profound change. It's like being a coach. A good coach knows when to encourage and when to challenge. They understand that the greatest growth often comes from pushing someone beyond their perceived limits. Tough love is not about being harsh for the sake of being harsh. It's about genuinely caring enough to intervene. It's about recognizing that true kindness sometimes involves discomfort. It means having the foresight to see the bigger picture, the long-term consequences of someone's current path. It's about understanding that real growth often comes from adversity. We learn, we evolve, and we transform through our struggles. If we always shield those we care about from hard truths, we risk stunting their growth and robbing them of the chance to develop resilience. Consider the story of a parent who watches their child make choices that lead to detrimental consequences. A loving parent might want to shield their child from all pain and suffering, but true love sometimes means stepping back and allowing them to face the consequences of their actions. It's about trusting that they will learn from their mistakes. By doing so, they develop the strength and wisdom to navigate life's challenges. This doesn't mean being unsupportive, rather, it means offering guidance while allowing them the space to make their own decisions, even if those decisions lead to tough lessons. It's easy to be kind when everything is smooth sailing. Anyone can offer a comforting word when the sun is shining. But when the storms of life hit, that's when tough love reveals its true power. It's the friend who tells you that you're making a mistake, not because they want to hurt you, but because they see the potential for growth and better choices. It's the mentor who pushes you to work harder, not because they are being mean, but because they believe in your capabilities more than you believe in them yourself. And let's not forget about ourselves in this equation. Tough love is not just something we extend to others, it's something we need to practice in our own lives. How many times have we made excuses for our own shortcomings? How many times have we let ourselves off the hook instead of holding ourselves accountable? Tough love for yourself means looking in the mirror and recognizing that you have the power to change, to grow, and to take action. It means pushing through discomfort, setting higher standards, and refusing to accept mediocrity in your own life. When you can apply tough love to yourself, you become a beacon for others. You model resilience, accountability, and the courage to confront the truth. The beauty of tough love is that it ultimately leads to empowerment. When we challenge others, we are not just pointing out their flaws, we are encouraging them to rise to their potential. We're giving them the tools to make better choices and to take charge of their own lives. And when they succeed, the sense of accomplishment is profound. They realize that they are capable of more than they ever imagined. They learn to trust themselves, to stand tall in their own strength, and to embrace challenges rather than shy away from them. So when you find yourself in a position where someone you care about needs guidance, don't shy away from the power of tough love. Embrace it. Understand that while it may not always be comfortable, it can be the most impactful gift you give. Let it come from a place of deep care and respect. When delivered with intention, tough love can be a catalyst for incredible change, not just for the person on the receiving end, but for you as well. Because as we step into this power, we become not just friends, mentors, and leaders, we become agents of transformation. And that is the truest form of kindness. Self-respect first. These two words carry a weight that many overlook in the hustle of life. We live in a world where the external often dictates our worth, where our value is measured by how much we give, how much we please others, and how much we please and to fit into someone else's expectations. But let me tell you something important. True respect, the kind that holds power, begins within. It starts with you. It starts with recognizing your worth and valuing yourself above all else. Self-respect is the foundation upon which all other relationships are built. If you don't respect yourself, how can you expect others to respect you? It's not enough to merely go through the motions of life trying to earn validation from others. You must first look in the mirror and affirm that you are worthy of love, worthy of happiness, and worthy of respect. It's easy to seek affirmation from others, but the most profound and lasting approval comes from within. When you carry self-respect, you walk differently, you speak differently, you set boundaries, and you demand to be treated with dignity. When you respect yourself, you stop accepting crumbs from the table of life. You refuse to be a bystander in your own existence. You begin to say no to the things that drain you and yes to the opportunities that uplift you. You realize that every moment spent pleasing someone else at the cost of your own happiness is a moment wasted, a moment taken away from the life you are meant to live. Self-respect empowers you to stand firm in your beliefs, even when those around you push back. It gives you the strength to voice your truth and the courage to walk away from situations that don't serve you. When you respect yourself, you cultivate an inner strength that makes it impossible for others to undermine your value. You develop a radar for toxic relationships, for manipulative behaviors, and for those who do not honor your worth. You start to attract the right people into your life, those who recognize and appreciate your value and treat you accordingly. Imagine this: every time you uphold your self-respect, you send a powerful message into the universe. You say, I am not just an option, I am a priority. You assert that your time, your energy, and your emotions are precious. This act of valuing yourself doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. It allows you to show up as your best self, not just for you, but for others as well. When you respect yourself, you can give genuinely because you are not empty. You're not giving from a place of obligation, but from a place of abundance. In times of struggle, it is your self-respect that will guide you. It will remind you of your strength when you face adversity. It will encourage you to keep moving forward, to keep striving for the life you envision, no matter the obstacles. It teaches you resilience. When you hit a setback, self-respect says, get back up. You are capable of more than this. You deserve more than this. It instills a sense of determination that can weather any storm. Self-respect also fosters authenticity. When you hold yourself in high regard, you embrace your uniqueness. You no longer feel the need to conform to the expectations of others or to dilute your true self for the comfort of the crowd. You own your story, your journey, and your truth. You stop comparing yourself to others, understanding that your path is your own, and that comparison is the thief of joy. As you build your self-respect, remember that it is a journey, not a destination. It requires constant nurturing and affirmation. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when the world tries to convince you that you're not enough. But during those moments, remember that you are your greatest advocate. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Acknowledge your growth and remind yourself that you are deserving of all the good life has to offer. So I challenge you to prioritize your self-respect. Make it a non-negotiable in your life. Stand tall, own your worth, and let it radiate in every aspect of your being. When you respect yourself, you not only change your own life, you inspire others to do the same. You create a ripple effect of self-worth that can touch lives beyond your own. You become a beacon of strength, a living testament to the power of self-respect, encouraging those around you to embrace their own worth. Remember, it starts with you. It starts with respecting yourself first, and that is the greatest gift you can give, not just to yourself, but to the world around you. The cost of overkindness is a heavy burden many of us carry without realizing it. We live in a world that often glorifies selflessness, encouraging us to put others' needs ahead of our own. We hear phrases like, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And while there is wisdom in serving and helping, there is also a dangerous line that can be crossed when kindness becomes overkindness. Imagine a well that continuously provides water. Initially, it flows abundantly, quenching the thirst of those who come to it. But if that well is never replenished, if it is continuously drawn from without any effort to restore it, eventually it will run dry. The same principle applies to us as human beings. If we give and give and give without taking the time to refill our own well, we risk depleting ourselves completely. When we engage in overkindness, we often find ourselves stretching too thin. We say yes to every request, every favor, and every demand on our time and energy, often at the expense of our own well-being. We convince ourselves that being kind means sacrificing our own needs, and while there's beauty in altruism, we must recognize when that altruism begins to erode our sense of self. What does this depletion look like in our lives? It can manifest as chronic exhaustion, both physically and emotionally. You may start to feel a sense of resentment creeping in, resentment towards those you've helped, or perhaps even towards yourself for saying yes when you really meant no. Over time, this can lead to feelings of isolation and bitterness. Instead of feeling fulfilled by your kindness, you feel weighed down by it. Instead of joy, you feel fatigue. Instead of connection, you feel a growing distance from those you're trying to help. We also run the risk of enabling others to become dependent on our kindness. When we constantly swoop in to rescue, we inadvertently strip others of the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet. By always being the one to solve problems or meet needs, we may stifle growth, not just in ourselves, but in those around us. They may start to rely on us instead of cultivating their own resilience and resourcefulness. Overkindness can inadvertently create a cycle of dependency that's difficult to break. Then there's the cost to our mental health. Constantly prioritizing others can lead to anxiety and stress. The more we give, the more we feel obligated to give. This sense of obligation can become a heavy chain that binds us, making it harder to pursue our own passions and dreams. We become so consumed by others' needs that we neglect our own aspirations, desires, and happiness. We stop checking in with ourselves, forgetting what we truly want out of life. Moreover, overkindness can cloud our judgment. When we're overly focused on being nice, we may overlook red flags or ignore our gut instincts. We might allow ourselves to be treated poorly or accept situations that drain us, all in the name of kindness. This lack of discernment can lead to relationships that are toxic or unfulfilling, where we feel undervalued and overextended. So what do? The answer isn't to stop being kind. Kindness is a beautiful quality that can change lives, including our own. Instead, we need to redefine our approach. We must learn to say no when it's necessary, to create boundaries that honor our needs as much as we honor the needs of others. We must practice self-care, ensuring our well is replenished so that we can give from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. By doing this, we shift our perspective on kindness. It becomes not just a simple act of giving, but a conscious choice rooted in self-awareness and respect for ourselves and others. When we embrace this new understanding of kindness, we find a healthier balance that fosters genuine connections and mutual support. It empowers us to help others without losing ourselves in the process. So let's embrace kindness in a way that is sustainable and uplifting. Let's be kind, but let's also be wise. Let's recognize the cost of overkindness and choose a path that honors both our hearts and our well-being. Because at the end of the day, true kindness is not about how much we give, it's about how we give, ensuring we remain strong, whole, and empowered. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up our discussion on the cost of overkindness, I urge you to reflect on your own lives and the balance you maintain. Kindness is a powerful tool. It can uplift, inspire, and transform not only those around us, but also ourselves. However, when we give too much of ourselves without regard for our own needs, we risk losing our strength, our clarity, and our joy. It's time to redefine what kindness means to you. Embrace the idea that you can be kind without sacrificing your own well-being. Recognize the importance of setting boundaries that protect your energy and mental health. Understand that saying no can be one of the most compassionate things you can do, not just for yourself, but for others as well. Remember, a kind heart does not need to be a selfless one. True kindness arises from a place of strength and self-respect. When you prioritize your own well-being, you empower yourself to give more authentically, to connect more deeply, and to inspire others to do the same. So as you leave here today, carry with you the message that kindness is a choice, one that should come from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Nurture your own well, and you will find that your kindness can flow freely and generously without the burden of sacrifice. Embrace kindness in a way that uplifts both yourself and those around you. Thank you.